Greetings, it's Intuitive Jakob back to do a musical tarot reading, down and dirty style, by elements. So we're going to be using a raw piece of rose quartz for fire tribes, a pine cone for earth tribes, magnetic rainbow hematite for water tribes, and a wooden cephalopod. It's a little octopus there for air tribes. I'm going to be playing one song that all the tribes have in common from my Art of Love musical tarot deck, one card from the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle, one Romance Angels card, pulling out some Sibilas. Sometimes multiple messages come up. Sometimes they're very specific, so they may or may not match for you. Feel free to check back. I'm doing these regularly. If you would like one that's done with just your energy, feel free to hit me up at artoflove.me and I'd be happy to do one for you. I'm going to be reading an excerpt from Elias Lonsdale's Inside Degrees, and I wanted to make a reference point also to feminist history today. One of the things that I've been finding is time didn't happen. We are stacking fractals of the stories that haven't been reconciled, and we are particle infusing into hyperdense form, and it ain't what they told us in band camp, kids. I did want to bring up 3 birthdays that are happening today that are awesome, because the moon reading today for Scorpio 26 is actually called a she-wolf, her udders full of milk. And I thought it was interesting that today we've actually got a birthday of 3 really strong women that you may or may not have heard of. One is Virginia Tony Caraballo. She was actually a huge activist for women's issues. And it's actually her birthday. She served in the National Organization for Women from 1968 to 1987 and co-authored the Feminist Chronicles from 1953 to 1993. Also, a birthday today is Sandra Day O'Connor. She was the first woman in the U.S. Supreme Court, the first U.S. Supreme Court justice, and that happened in 1981. And also today, it's Nancy Pelosi's birthday. So speaking of she-wolf, some of you all might be very familiar with who she is, but she is the first woman speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, 2007 to 2009, and also serves as a Democratic representative in the state of California on the House of Representatives. So interesting. Happy birthday to those women. And I'm going to go ahead and read to you from the book about the she-wolf. This is today's moon. A she-wolf, udders full of milk, bearing within you something vast and wild and true, your instincts given over to this seed. What can be and must be impels sacrifice and renunciation, being held in the grip of vast primordial forces, taken over by depths that forge new worlds into being, stunned into submission, unconsciously obsessed with something that lives within you and cannot be forgotten, supercharged with energy, in tune with the Earth's cycles, everything happening in a magnified and hypnotic atmosphere. The hidden worlds take charge. Individuality is eclipsed, and the surge of power dominates consciousness and life by its intensity and ruthless current right through the body, and there is nothing to say about it. Fire tribes, good to have you here. And it's here, we've shuffled and dealt, and you got the rose quartz today. This one here is actually waxed with some things that have gone on with my prayer. I'm just going to get some of the energies on the Sibilas, and we'll go ahead and pull the 2 cards that we just shuffled for you. And let's see what we got. All right, so with the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, we've got the 7 Deception and Envy card that showed up. And I'm hearing this is probably not a surprise to some of you right now. The number 7 might have a significance for some of you, but I'm hearing for somebody, it's like getting off of the treadmill and like what 7 days a week looks like for some of you. And I'm hearing a certain kind of healing that needs to come forward right now because of something that you can do that's going to give you a better self-esteem. And it might have something to do with love. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic like the song sort of implies, but it's talking to me about a prototype of a new way for you to operate. And maybe today's your lucky day, baby. Maybe you've got a prototype of something you can do. And I'm here for some of you, this is just realizing that you might be on the recipient end of somebody's hatred or jealousy. Hatred is what came out though. So, you know, I have some recommendations. Anytime this guy shows up in the reading, and I say guy lightly, she, he, they, other. This could be any person. You'll know your own gender, please. But for me, when I see this card show up, it's like put on the bitch shield. Sometimes you just need to know that it's okay to protect your view and what you're going through, especially if you think you might have some haters. Let's see what else. Romance angels say, well, here we go. Reconciliation showing up for our fire tribes. This card says someone from your past is returning to your life. Well, that definitely looks like a romantic card there. And I'm hearing somebody saying, we met for a reason, and I didn't mean to let you go like that. And I'm hearing for somebody, it's a little weird because it might come out funny. It might have looked like I'm not interested, but that was just me putting on the shield, you know? And so sometimes people do that, especially if they've been injured before. And I'll just give you a reference point for this card here in case you're not familiar with this deck. But perhaps you use other decks like the Rider-Waite-Smith or a more traditional style tarot. This is a lot like your 7 of Swords energy, which that can be a challenging energy. It's a lot of mental stuff. And I'm hearing for some of you, this is like psychic awakening from your heart and you being able to see yourself well within that. And I know that's challenging sometimes for people that never considered themselves to be intuitive or sensitive. If you start realizing that you're hearing things or feeling things, it might not be the most comfortable thing. And sometimes these 7s can be uncomfortable for people. When I see them in repetition, sometimes it has to do with timing of things. And so I feel like for those of you that were looking for an answer about some kind of relationship in the past, this might be a good indication of it being soon or around the time where you might be able to have that conversation. And let's just see what the Sabilas say, because we have a little time on this song here. Let's see what our fire tribes might want to know about this energy. Monday, 26. What do we need to know? Alright, well, somebody was too shy to say anything. This Giovine Fanciulla, this is somebody who is typically not very overt with what she says. In fact, she sometimes likes to just point her energy. And, you know, this is somebody who's probably been watching and waiting for an opportunity to take a moment, or in some cases might be under observation. They might have a lot of attention on them. And I hear it could be, you know, because they're really attractive to people and they might have a lot of watchers and onlookers looking for their attention. And yeah, okay, so that's the Amore card here. This one here that showed up is pretty obvious. That's a little Cupid there that wants to get some action. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, you just need to know that the time might be here to do more than just look. It might be time to take a stab at something, especially if you feel like it's time to get in touch with somebody who might have felt like that. You know, I'm hearing it's like having the wings around you. So you're going to know if it's for you or not. Let's just see what's on the bottom here. Okay, well, if you do send that message, it might be a relief to somebody because we've got the Gran Consolazione card here. And this is somebody who's very tired sometimes from what they've been waiting for, but they get very relieved and they've been imagining something, and look, it's almost like the clouds here. So I'm hearing for somebody, they might have just been really busy at work, and I could keep going on with this reading, but if you're going to know if the message is for you, if you'd like me to do one just with your energy, please feel free to hit me up at artoflove.me. And if I don't hear from you, take care. God bless. We'll catch you again. We're back for another one.